Hello, hello, and happy Sunday. Let's see who's going to be checking in with me tonight for day 14 of the 30-day Boss Up Challenge. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, we are on day 14. Hey, Derek. I see you're on time today. Good for you. Hey, Stephanie. Day 14, wow. Welcome to any newcomers to the Boss Up Challenge, and any returning people, pat yourself on the back because you're showing commitment. We're going to do our acknowledgements. Before I get started, I want to shout out the clothing line Future of the Retro, which is owned by Frederick Brown, and I believe he has a partner. I think he calls him French, but I'm not sure of his real name, so sorry about that. But Future of the Retro. They also have a group called No Days Off. So they do t-shirts and all kind of creative things. So definitely look up Future of the Retro. Some pretty neat stuff. We're also going to do our goal check-in from yesterday. Now, for some reason yesterday, when we were talking about the customers, I think the goal that I set was for people to think about the ways in which they're going to deal with difficult customers. But for some reason, I don't know if I actually followed through with saying that was the actual goal. So anyway, if that was the goal, think about it. If that was not the goal, think about the goal that you set for yourself and determine whether or not you achieve the goal. Because we're here at the 14-day mark, getting close to being halfway through the Boss Up Challenge. And I want to make sure that you all are going to get everything that I said you get from this experience. In order to do that, you do need to follow the program. You do need to do the things that we're talking about. So setting goals, achieving goals, tuning in. If you miss a video, get caught up. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. If you do all those things, then you will get those 10 things that we talked about. Okay? And by the way, I will go over those 10 things. I found them in my notes. I'm going to go over them tomorrow as we celebrate the halfway mark of being finished with the 30-day Boss Up Challenge. So we'll go over the 10 things that you'll get if you commit to this challenge. Okay, so today's topic, knock, knock. Who's there? Opportunity. Okay, opportunity. Do not miss it. So many people have passed up opportunities to get into business or to take on an endeavor that will enrich their lives and help them level up. And they just miss the opportunity. There are so many reasons that people miss opportunities. But one of the main things I think causes people to miss opportunities is they don't show up. They don't make themselves available, basically. If you're not available and ready to receive an opportunity, then you will miss the opportunity. And when you're trying to be really successful in business and you really want to try to get to that millionaire, billionaire status, a lot of times it requires the stars to be in proper alignment, and that doesn't always happen. So you have to stay ready. You have to stay ready, stay receptive, stay in a state of mind, in a position where you are prepared to receive opportunities. Okay? Ways that you miss out on opportunities. Well, if you are not available, meaning you don't put yourself where opportunities generally appear. If you are in environments that don't prevent or typically prevent these kind of opportunities, then you're not making yourself available. You need to get yourself involved in things that center around business growth and development and networking. Put yourself in those situations so that you can actually be given an opportunity or create an opportunity for yourself when you show up for these things. If you're not in the right place and you're not keeping the right company, like we talked about the other day, then your chances are very slim of getting the kind of opportunity that would be awesome for you. Another way that people are passing up opportunities is, laziness. I don't know of a better word to say, so I'll just go ahead and say lazy. Laziness. People don't want to do the work. They don't really. They think they want the opportunity, but they really don't want the opportunity. They want the outcome. They don't want the process. The opportunity sets the stage to begin the process, and the process and setting that stage is very difficult. That's the hard part, and a lot of people don't want to do it. They want to figure out if there's some get-rich-quick deal that they can figure out or finesse. And if they don't find that, they just carry on life as usual, and they don't put forth extra effort to get these opportunities or to create these opportunities. You can create opportunities for yourself. You don't have to be a sitting duck and just sit around waiting for opportunity to knock. You actually can go and look to situations and try to create opportunities for yourself. But that requires you to be driven. So you can't be lazy. Can't be lazy. So that's another reason why people miss opportunities. Another reason people miss opportunities is because of, their mindset. Let's be specific. Let's talk about ego. Ego. I think the person who founded Zumba, Beto, I want to say his name is. When I went on one of those cruises, I saw that he had like this big poster or something. It was huge. And it was like, your ego is not your amigo. And that stuck with me, actually. It was very catchy. And I'm like, that's true. Your ego can get in the way of you being present and willing to accept opportunities. The ego can get in the way, and it might look something like this. You grew up with the person, and that person did well in business and became a powerhouse in business. Now that person is available to assist you, and the person may have approached you or whatever. You grew up with this person, but you feel like because you're so close with the person and because you all were peers, you really don't want to take any opportunity from that person. You don't really want to feel like you're taking any handouts, or you feel like you don't want to feel like, your friend or this person you grew up with is like showing you up, or that they're better than you or in a better position to be able to help you. Those are the kind of things that can really get in the way of opportunity. Ego, that's an example of the ego. We talked about within the first week of me doing this, we talked about why more men weren't joining the group. And actually more men have been stopping through, so kudos to the men. But the guy was saying that a lot of men probably don't want to join the group because, I'm a woman, and some men may not want to learn from a woman. They may not want to feel like a woman has a leg up or a competitive edge over them. So they don't want to listen to anything from that person if it's a female. That's another example of ego getting in the way of opportunity. Closed mouths don't get fed. Exactly. In business, I really think it's best for people to try to, make sex disappear. Try to, regardless of, how the person presents, it's clear. I think it's obvious that I'm a woman, but when I stand before people, I actually want to be seen as a business person and not a woman. So when men look at me, I want them to see a business person, and I want the information that I'm giving to be accurate and something that they feel is credible. They can look past sex and all of that. And if people could do that, it would make it more opportunities would become available and present themselves. But some people are just closed off. Some people won't work with people based on their religion. They won't work with people based on their sexuality. And they won't work with them based on race, age, you name it. I mean, people discriminate for all kind of reasons, and it's really like they're cutting their nose off to spite their face. So I think being more open-minded and getting the ego out of there can help you to be able to take opportunities. Another reason why people pass opportunities is because they may be really focused on family and having children. And especially if you're a woman, it kind of potentially can take you out the game for a while when you're pregnant and that kind of thing. So when you're choosing to have a lot of children, it's going to be difficult sometimes to take somebody up on an opportunity because you feel like, well, my baby's only like 4 weeks old. I really want to be home with them and nurse and this kind of thing. There could be all kind of reasons when it comes to family. So family can be a reason. Not just a newborn baby, but even if you have like a child, it's their senior year in high school and you have to prepare for prom, graduation, you want to be available. You don't want to be absent during that milestone year. So, people can miss opportunities because of other obligations they feel they have. I've even turned down some opportunities or didn't capitalize on opportunities because when I'm in school full time, I really can't focus on anything else. Really, it's difficult to focus. So, when people pass up opportunity, it's not necessarily like they're doing it intentionally or it's like they don't truly want the opportunity, but these are just reasons that I want you to be mindful of. And if you really are getting a mind for business and you're going in boss up mode, you have to be prepared to create a life where you don't miss opportunities. You're ready. You stay ready, basically. Some people miss opportunities because of some type of mental health issue, including, but not limited to, substance abuse. There are people who drink a lot. They may be an alcoholic. They may just be a heavy drinker, someone that just stays kind of, lit or tipsy often. They could be a person that smokes marijuana or uses strains of marijuana with high THC content. And those things can really take you out the game from a brain standpoint, from an executive functioning standpoint. You're really you're messing up the circuitry of the brain when you're getting high on anything. So you're really not going to be at your best to do business if you're constantly under the influence of substances. Now, I know there are some people out there that are going to argue and say, no, that's not true. I do better when I do this, because if I didn't do this, I would feel worse. If I didn't use medical marijuana, I would be in so much pain that I wouldn't be able to be productive. You're going to hear those kind of arguments. So in those cases, I just have to have a caveat and say, if all things are normal and you don't need the substance to actually numb you or take away emotional pain or physical pain, because that pain might be so great that without self-medicating, you wouldn't be functioning. You probably are doing better when you self-medicate. But let's just say those things are not an issue. You will not be at your best under the influence of any substances that are mind-altering like that. Now, there are some medications that actually make people focus more, like the medications for ADHD. And you'll see that a lot of college students will use those medications even though they don't have ADHD, but they'll take those medications and abuse them just so that they can pull all-nighters and stay up. And it's like super duper caffeine, basically. I mean, it's not caffeine, but it gives you the energy, and apparently it's supposed to give you a better degree of focus. And so it's almost like speed, basically. And be careful with those kind of things. So the mind altering substances, be very careful, because you may miss an opportunity. It could be as simple as you're at an event and you decided to get lit, and you're smacked at this event, and there are some people there that are actually talking about some business ideas or some stock tips, or but you're like kind of out of it and barely remember the evening the next day. You might not even remember like what was going on, if that's how much you were drinking or getting high. So something as simple as that, you can miss an opportunity just by not having all your faculties. You want to be there cognitively. You want to have everything you can is correct up here. You need it at full capacity to be able to seize every opportunity that presents itself, because you need to be able to have clarity. You need to be able to distinguish between, good decisions and bad decisions. You need to be able to plan, strategize, execute moves. You need to be at your best. So the substances make people pass up opportunities. So I think with a lot of people feel like, woe is me, I never really get a chance to, be my best self. Nothing ever comes my way. And if you feel like you're that person, then I challenge you to change some things about what you're doing. Think about what we talked about in this video today. Think about if any of those things apply to you. And figure out, your goal tonight will be to figure out how to make a plan. Your plan doesn't have to be all thought out and perfect, but I want you to begin thinking about a plan for how you can get ready to seize opportunities when they present themselves, and to create opportunities. Think about what factors in your life may be holding you back from being able to act on something. If somebody were to come up to you like tomorrow and say, I have $1 million. I need you to be able to get on this plane with me and go to this city for 2 weeks, and we need to get it in. All I need is for you to be the manpower and to do X, Y, and Z, and I'll fund it. Would you be in a position to do that? If somebody said, come, let's get on a plane, not planning it months in advance, but it's like, come on, let's go get on a plane. We need to meet with these people. I have $1 million. They have, more financial backing. I need your expertise. I just need you to show up. Could you do that if somebody, presented you that opportunity? Could you leave your life that you have right now for 2 weeks to go seize an opportunity in business? I'm going to give you an example of somebody that has figured out how to seize opportunity, even with having a family. This person, she basically she had a Fulbright scholarship. I think that's what you call it, she was a Fulbright scholar, and she was able to go to Africa for, I think it was like 5 weeks, I want to say. And she has 2 daughters that are fairly young. So she had, when she didn't even know when she applied that she was even going to get this thing, but she tried it anyway. And when she got notification that she was selected to go, she put things in place so that she could seize that opportunity. Because the opportunity, basically, she was able to go to Africa, establish some connections, observe, the situation there and apply it to what she's trying to do with her business and help build her brand. And ever since then, since she got back from there, she travels the country routinely now. She's been on at least 3 or 4 different continents within the past several months. And she has children, and she has a job. But she figured out how to seize the opportunity. You have to seize the opportunity. I have an example of me seizing an opportunity when I was in school. One time there was an event that was up in Manhattan with the organization that I was a part of. And it would have been my first time really like spending time with these women, introducing myself, getting to know them, and like being exposed to the activities that they had planned. And I would have had to have like missed school and actually like missed study time. But I just decided I'm going. Hey, Karina. And Karina was one of the people that was there. So you have to seize opportunities. You have to be ready to seize them, okay? So my 20 minutes of giving information is up, and so that opens up for Q&A right now. The Q&A can be about our topic today. It can be about a previous topic. It can be about anything business related, basically. Karina, thank you so much for what you did the other day. I will not forget it, I'm telling you. We really, really appreciate it, and it looks so good. I can't wait to show you the finished product. But yeah, seizing opportunities. Thank you. We're talking about opportunity, like when it comes to knocking, don't miss it. And for the people that seem like they're always missing it, why are they always missing opportunities? We talked about the various reasons it could be. So while you are thinking about if you have any questions for me, I'll go back and say hello to everyone like I do. All right, Pedro, Chastity, Anthony, Kevin, Gina, Min Lee, Jessica, Melvin. I'm seeing a lot of people that are actually like doubling and tripling and quadrupling back, basically. Even if they don't stay very long, I still like the fact that they tune in briefly. They know that I'm doing this every night, and they still come back just to peek in. I think that's good. You got Booby, Grace, Hannah's back, Essence stopped through, Karina, John, Rocksteady, and my sister. Hey, girl. All right, so we have a question. What would, if you was given $1 million, what would I do if I was given $1 million? Or what would you do if you were given $1 million? What would I do if I was given $1 million? Well, the first thing, I would deduct the amount of income tax or gift tax or whatever kind of tax I would have to pay on it. And then after that, whatever I had left, it depends, because if suddenly $1 million was dropped in my lap, I wouldn't make any decisions on what to do with it right in that moment. But here's an example of how I am preparing to seize opportunities. This group that I'm developing is preparing me to network with people. I already have people that are submitting, getting business plans together, saying they want me to look over their business plan. Some people may want me to invest in their business. They may want to partner or collaborate. And by creating this group, what I'm doing is I'm trying to extrapolate the people out of the population, those unique individuals who actually have a business mind, and find those people, because those are my people. We all belong together, but we have to find each other because we're rare. I'm just going to be honest. We're rare. And so when I see the same people coming back every night, that means something. if that person's going to stand out in my mind. And so what I'm trying to do is make sure that I'm discovering and exploring all kind of opportunities. And me and my family, we always have something, cooking, so that if I get that $1,000,000, I would be able to have a good plan about what I would do with it. But if I had to give an answer, it'll be a broad answer. I would invest. I would invest that $1,000,000. And I would invest in a lot of small businesses that I felt were good ideas and viable. I may take over some businesses that may be running well and the person wants to sell. And I would also have a portion of that money go into the stock market. And I would have some of it go towards a very aggressive, risky portfolio where I might be able to get a quick return on the money. And then I would have some devoted towards just staying in there for like 10, 15, 20 years and letting it have growth if I'm lucky. Remember, you can't predict the stock market. In fact, they're anticipating some kind of crash. I don't know how accurate that is, but it's happened, I think, twice in the past several decades, at least twice, where it's been a big crash, basically. But in general, though, I would definitely shoot my shot with stocks. And that's why right now I am working on learning how to trade stocks and penny stocks, actually. And one of these evenings I'm going to go over this with you all. I've been reading this. This is Grandma's Simple Secret for Extra Income by Wendy Kirkland. And basically she's just given a quick way to talk about how to trade, how to day trade. So, it's like, eventually I want to be able to know what that means. I want to know exactly what that means. So by learning this, while I don't have $1,000,000, if one day I were to get $1,000,000, then I would have a knowledge base or skill set to know how to use that money. And I see Calvin said it's only $1,000,000. Well, and I tell you, $1,000,000, because I've grossed $1,000,000 several years with my company, $1,000,000 is not really even a lot of money. Believe it or not, it's really not a lot of money. Once you've had that kind of money go into your account and leave out of your account, it's not as glorious as you might have once thought. But I think that's part of getting used to, once you start to get money and you see what it takes to get money, now you're curious about, I was able to figure out how to make $1 million. Now, what could I do to actually make 10 million? Yeah, it's not a lot of money. It's not. Like I said, the first thing I said is when I first get the money, I got to deduct the taxes, because after the taxes, it's not going to be anywhere near $1,000,000 that I'm working with. Especially depending on if it was gifted to me, if I inherited it, if it was income, if it was capital gains, it just depends, basically. So it's hard to answer those type of questions because there are so many nuances I would have to know the answers to even say what I would begin to do. But invest. I can say for certain I would invest. I can also say for certain that I would not spend the money. I would not, well, when I say not spend, if I make a purchase, it's going to be an investment. And that's different than spending money. So I'm not going to just go and buy myself a lot of nice things that have no value, that do not increase my net worth, that I want that $1 million, every penny of it, I want to be subject to compound interest. I want that money to make more money. And I will not spend it on anything that will not make more money, basically. That's kind of, I've gotten pretty good with living like that now. I have convinced myself that I'm a bum, that I don't have any money, so I don't spend a lot of money. And I play this game with myself, and I act like I'm broke. So I'll shop at the thrift store. I won't get a new car. If I get a new car, it'll be like a Kia. It's like I've played mind games with myself, and I just act like I really don't have the money. I always, in my family, I know I get on their nerve because, I always act like there's about to be a financial crisis. I'm always like bracing for impact. I'm always like, okay, next month might not be looking that great. And then it's still like, an extra 20,000 that came from that month versus 40,000. To me, I feel like, well, hey, that's not that great. It should be another 40,000. But for a lot of people, they would feel like that 20,000 is sounding good too. But I don't really want to spend the money. I'm not going to go and buy any luxury items or a lot of things that just don't have value. Hey, Kim, how are you? Kim Frazier, man, Kim, she was like the bomb in high school. She was one of those people that had her stuff together. Her moral compass was in place from day one. And I always have respect for her. And I bet she's doing good now. I know you're doing good, girl. Have such a beautiful spirit. I wish I had some sense when I was in high school. Oh my goodness. I could probably be even further ahead right now. Let's see. I'm learning stocks now. A friend of mine is trying to get a part of his group, but to me it's a pyramid scheme. Whoa. If you talk about multi-level marketing in here, you're going to be mad at me. If you're one of those people that have like this commitment and connection to your MLM or this company that you heard about and you're so excited, this is not the group for you. I'm going to blow your life. I am going to discourage you. You're going to be upset. So this is not the group for you right now. Come back when you have figured out that most people don't make money with those things. But yeah, so one thing I wanted to do, part of this group is about networking. And I'm making this group, like right now it's free to be a part of the Facebook group. There's no like entry fee, there's no monthly fee, because I want to attract people, and you have to attract people and it has to be free. But eventually I want to get to a point where when we have like only serious people in the group, because I will be removing people that really don't serve a purpose or do anything. And then once we get to a point where there's only serious people in the group, then we can start to do things like, hedge fund, joint pot. My sister's a part of an investment group where it might be like 10 couples or 10 people, and they pay a certain amount of dues. I'm not sure what you call it actually, but they pay like a certain amount each month. That money goes into a joint pot, and because all of their money being put together gives them more than if they were individual, they're able to invest in portfolios that have higher value or that might be more expensive. So you might be able to buy a lot of stock in Amazon, or right now you can buy a stock like Neurostem is one that I've invested in, because they're trying to figure out how to use stem cells and implant them in the central nervous system to cure dementia and other cognitive deficits. And if it hits, I'm in now when their stock is like 50 cents. But like if you got in early with Facebook, it would have been inexpensive. But once the stock gets expensive, now it's harder to buy it. But if you're a group, you can put your money together and invest. But there's an issue with trust there. In the community I come from, in my culture, there's a real distrust about getting together with people and giving your money to anybody. So what I'm trying to do is, by creating this group, by meeting people that are serious, by getting to know people, then we can use our spirit of discernment and figure out who to work with to make power moves like that. You know, because I don't want to ever have to do any convincing of anybody. Anybody that doesn't endeavor with me, I don't want to have to convince them to do it. And I don't want to feel like I have to jump through hoops to like earn their trust or anything. So I just want to build a rapport with people so that we can come up with these kind of ideas. Yeah, they're called dues. Yeah. Hey, Mom. Hey. And so, yeah, they pay monthly dues. I think they might, I mean, it could be, your group could be maybe like $50 a month that each person puts in. And if you have like 20 people, it can add up. Personally, I would like a group that would be capable of having a higher monthly amount. But what I realize is a lot of people are not in the position to do that. And so I still want to make a connection with people from my community who may not be able to do it big like that. They have to like start somewhere. And so, you know, because even as the organization that I was a part of, the Women's President Organization, the membership dues were like, I want to say $2,000 for the year. The MIT Club of DC is $500 for the year. So it's like you have to pay to play. You have to pay to play, and you can't even get in to the WPO if you don't have a company that has grossed over $1 million in annual revenue. So that's a high bar for people that I grew up with, that's in my community, my neighbors. That's a high bar. So I'm thinking like, well, maybe I can create something or do something that will actually be more attainable for the average people that are in my community, who actually want a shot. They want an opportunity, but they don't have $2,000 to spend on a membership to go and hang around women that can give you really good ideas and information about becoming multimillionaires like they are. Or like the MIT Club. My son is actually at MIT, but because I'm a parent, there's actually a club for parents, and each major city has one. So I joined the DC chapter, and that was $500. So it's like you're paying for these things, but then you're open up to these opportunities. I'm creating opportunities. I would say probably I've backed off on money generating things, and it may sound weird. I've actually like made decisions to close down businesses and give away businesses and lose revenue, but it's for the purpose of actually preparing. I'm setting a stage basically to be able to create opportunities for others and for myself by networking, by meeting people, by getting my doctorate, by getting in the rooms that only 3% of the people get in. That's what I'm working on. And that's preparation. And so the journey looks a little different, because when I'm doing those things, I may not be able to devote a lot of time to actually generating income, but I know what the end game is. And I know that it's all about networking, pooling resources together, and, you know, playing the game, basically. Learning how to play the game. Hello, Jennifer. So do we have any questions or anything? Hey, Melvin. Questions about business, stocks, seizing the opportunities, the future of this group, goals for this group, suggestions for the group. Yeah, $50 a month. That's not bad. So, like, for instance, I was trying to get with my sister and see if she knew anybody else that might be able to do like $500 a month. And I realized, like, for a lot of people, even if they have it to give, they're not willing to do that. Hello. Yeah, stocks. So, yeah, because you have to bring it down. You have to bring it down a notch when you're trying to include people who are trying to find their come up. And I don't mind doing that as long as it doesn't require me to level down and to take steps backwards. Like, I don't mind doing that at all. But yeah, I wanted to look into like the penny stocks and the day trading. And I know it's going to take a lot of focus because you have to like really be watching the market, and you have to look at the different patterns. And so far I'm learning that, like, once the stock value goes down, then it goes up. Like, if it goes down a lot, then it goes up. Like Weight Watchers, for instance, with Oprah Winfrey, went down, then it'll start coming up. And if it goes down again after the second plummet, that's when you start to buy, when everybody else is running. This is what they say, like, one of the strategies is for like day trading and different things. So I'm trying to learn that. I can tell it's going to take some time for me to get comfortable, but what I did was I just put money into 3 different accounts that I'm playing with, basically, and I just put money in there that I can afford to lose. I don't put everything that I have in there. Not even close. Not half, not even a quarter of what I have is going to go in there with the amount of knowledge I have now. So I'm using Ameritrade, Robinhood, and Acorn. Trying to get to know those. So far, I feel most comfortable with Robinhood, but I like Acorn because it has that roundup feature where you link it to your account, and whenever you swipe your card or make a purchase, it rounds it up to the next dollar, and it gives you the option actually to round it up to the next dollar and apply it towards your account, basically. So we're going to do that. So, because we still have 16 days left. And that's definitely one of the things. I didn't want to start talking about it until I finished reading this, and I started watching a lot of YouTube videos. So I wanted to make sure that when I come to you all, we explore this thing. I have enough information where I feel comfortable exploring it with you all through this platform. But I'm going to let people know in advance, like the night before, that the next day is going to be the day where be ready to establish your account. And I think for Robinhood, I think the minimum amount that you had to get started with might have been $35, I want to say. So I'm just going to let you all know right now, those of you all who are on the 30-day Boss Up plan, one of the 10 things you will gain from this, I told you that you will own at least one stock in a publicly traded company if you do what I'm asking you to do. So be ready to sign up for, I think I'm going to go with the Robinhood one, and we can go through those steps together and make sure that you all get your account set up. You have your $35 or whatever the minimum is. You put it in there, and you buy a stock. I can tell you right now, like, for instance, if you want to start getting your money together. So on one hand, I told you all about NeuroStem. Let's see. So to give you an idea of the disparity, so NeuroStem, right now, their stock is 59 cents per stock. Whereas you have a company like Apple is $191 per stock. See, Netflix is $361.15 per stock. as of today when the market closed. I think it's closed by now. Netflix, Tesla, $264.35. But then you have these other ones like, let's see, which one is this? Snapchat is $10.72. So you could buy one stock in Snapchat. They don't look like they've been doing too great. So you basically, you go in here and you just look at your trends, and you have to be careful. There are certain rules. You can't like trade. You can't do like a day trade, a same day trade more than like 3 times in a week, or they'll suspend your account. I don't know why. I guess they don't want you to be doing day trading if you don't have a certain amount. See, these are the things that I'm learning. That's why I'm not well versed and can't speak fluently on it. Okay, yeah, you have Acorn. You have most of those. Yeah, so I would say one of the most expensive stocks that I've seen would be the Netflix. Now think about this. I can't remember when Netflix came out, but I know that it wasn't popping back when my daughter was like a baby. I was living in King George. I don't remember Netflix. So that's when it probably wasn't popular, if it existed at all. Can you imagine when they went public? Can you imagine like if you would have gotten in early with Netflix, or if you had gotten in early with Uber? You know, so that's the thing. So now I'm like, I want to have a little bit of everything. I want to be on the lookout. This is why networking and setting the stage and preparing to seize opportunity. When I go to the places that I go, whether it's a conference about the newest technologies in brain tumor removal. You all might have remember I went live there. I was the only black person in a room of like 200 people, and no one sat at my table. But that was about a new laser technology that's able to remove what would have been an inoperable brain tumor. So it's like huge. It's like a huge development in the field. Now, by me going there, yes, neuro is what I'm going to school for. So I want to understand it for that reason too. But I also want to understand the latest things that are happening, because now I can think about, so if they're going to use those lasers, what kind of material would they be using, to make those lasers? What company have those materials, or for instance, like, I think it's China. I want to say China have like this new battery factory, for lack of a better word, like how Tesla has one that was large. Well, the China one makes that one, it pales in comparison, basically. And if you anticipate that this company is going to need a certain amount of like copper or aluminum, or don't quote me because I'm not sure exactly the inner workings of it, but giving you some examples, like let's say you needed a certain amount of copper to each year to produce the batteries that's needed for that, because they're not allowing any more vehicles that are not electric vehicles. They don't allow gas anymore because their people are getting sick over there because of the pollution. That's how bad it is. So when you hear that information, if you wake up and you're reading, and you just read, and you talk to people, and you go places, you hear about the latest things that are happening, and it makes you look into more things. So now if you are a person who's an investor, you're going to look for companies that mine copper or the metals that are required. And you try to take your best guess. You might try to buy stock in a little bit in all of them, or try to take your best guess about which one. Keep your ear open to who might get a contract to supply these things. They say that really there is not enough there's going to be a shortage of it, basically. So to me, what I think about is, well, everybody think they're so clever thinking about the metals that are going to be used for these batteries, and there's a crisis because they feel like there's not enough. Well, I have a son at MIT, so I'm going to hit him up and say, hey, are any of your friends or anybody that you know working on developing something new to generate energy for batteries, or energy that's not like something that's just brand new? Because other people might be gearing up to like invest in the metals and put all their money into that. And then boom, there's a new discovery that comes out of MIT or Stanford or somewhere, and they're not even using metal anymore. They're using this new stuff. This is why everything needs to, the moves you make in your life, the things you help your children do and position them for, it's all strategic. It's all strategic, and you're preparing a stage so you can seize the opportunity. You know, I mean, it's definitely illegal to like do inside trading. So you're not supposed to like be able to know inside information about a corporation and then in turn make trades, like buy and sell based on that. That you go to jail over that. Martha Stewart went to jail over that. But if you are just studying things and you're drawing your own conclusions based on critical thinking, that's not illegal. That's what makes people good at doing stocks. So just something to think about. It's part of why like I'm nowhere near ready to really like invest a whole lot until I get a better idea. But I'm starting to see what people do and why it's important to put yourself out there. If I was at home all the time just binge watching Netflix or hanging out at the bar every night or high as a kite all day every day, there's no way I would be thinking about these things. There's no way I would be thinking about these things. And if I was hanging out with people that I maybe used to hang out with back in the day, there's no way they're having those conversations. If I even tried to bring up an inoperable brain tumor and new technology, I'll get a blank stare, from some of the people. So that's why your top 5 people, they have to be people that'll have those conversations with you. Like you see how some of you are staying tuned in as I'm talking about the metals and the mining of the metals. And, a lot of people don't have the ability or desire to understand that type of talk. But I think that type of talk is sexy to me. Seriously. I love smart people. I love smart people, men and women. I want to be around smart people. It is a major motivating factor of why I'm getting my doctorate. It's been a major reason for my happiness and my transformation over the past couple of years, from being just down and out and a zombie walking around to I don't expect you all to understand, but those who know me closely understand it's a transformation. And by putting myself in the right places, it has brought me like joy and happiness and hope for like a better future. It has really been an eye-opener. So I encourage everybody to put yourself in a position and prepare for seizing opportunities. That's the topic of today's video. And I will stop talking, let you all say something, or we can end the evening. You said amen? Yep. Yeah, smart people. I like smart people. People that I like, book smart people, and street smart people are cool too, but not if they're the type that are like malicious hustlers, street type smart. I don't like that. I like book smarts. I do want a person to have common sense. Oh yeah, amen to smart people. Yeah. I don't want to hang around people where I can't use my normal vocabulary that I typically use. I don't want to hang around people where I can't talk about my dissertation. You know, that's why I really, really feel fortunate to have a family that I can honestly say I know that a couple people that are in my five are geniuses by IQ and or creative genius. If you're fortunate enough to have like 2 to 3 geniuses in your top five, it's good stuff. Emotional intelligence. Yeah, yeah. The common sense. That's kind of what I was referring to, not the street smarts. Although I do like people that are not sheep, because book smart people can be sheep, but common sense, emotional intelligence, basically. Yeah. Although, believe it or not, the trend is that people with very high IQs and who are very, very book smart typically are off emotionally. I don't know if it has something to do with the overcompensation in parts of the brain that were allocated somewhere else, but that's why you might notice that a lot of people that are well-known geniuses in whatever field they were in, there was something like off about them. Ever so slight, either socially awkward or, you know, what did they feel like? Albert Einstein, Vincent Van Gogh, even Neil Armstrong. When I watched that movie, First Man, then I went to see Apollo 11 on IMAX a couple of weeks ago, and that was like the real footage of going to the moon. And he was socially awkward. Buzz Aldridge seemed to be socially awkward. So yeah, I think when you get that, like I think the in the spirit and the mind, you're supposed to have balance. So if one of the scales goes like this, then something has to go like that. That's really just my opinion and an observation and something that I read. I don't know if it's actual fact. We're down to 3 viewers. I'm not sure who they are. Well, back up to 4. I know it's probably going to fluctuate a bit as people kind of come and go. Hey, Keish. So, any questions? Any questions about how to create opportunities? How to be prepared for opportunities? How to seize the moment? It's true. Oh no. Look, oh no, it's true. Mm-mm-mm. I guess some people just can't have it all. Why? I still will take I will take the book smart person that's a little awkward than a person who's just even tempered but kind of like unintelligent. I won't say stupid. I don't want to use those type of words. I'll take a little bit of emotional ability if I can get some genius. I can work with that. when you're around people that are you just feel are geniuses, you just feel, you know how it's like to fall in love in that honeymoon phase where you just like every time you're with the person you just feel excited and warm and fuzzy inside. That's how I feel about getting together with people who have good business ideas. It's exciting, it's fun, it's exhilarating. And that's probably why I'm a serial entrepreneur, because I like to fall in love over and over and over again. So every time there's a new business idea, I feel like I'm in the fall in love stage. But as with relationships, the honeymoon phase at some point is over with every business that you get into, and you start to see the downside of things. Everything has a downside. Yeah, so I think we need to want to fall in love with business, fall in love with it. Because if you fall in love with it, you're going to spend more time with your business and thinking about your business than you do your family, friends, and pretty much everything. It's going to come before almost everything, unfortunately. Not forever, but in the building stages. So it'll help if you kind of in love with it. Because when you're in love with something or somebody, you tend to be more patient, and you can, you're more long suffering. You're able to tolerate it and stick to it even when it's like grueling. So fall in love with your business. I might have to make that a topic one night. If people would court their business the way they pursue a romantic partner, we'd be booming. The industry would be booming right now. If people took the energy that they use to pursue other people romantically, if they took that and they channeled it to business, it'll be popping on every storefront would be popping with a business. You said, "What's up? You missed out." I don't know if you're still in here, Keish, but we talked about if opportunity were to come knocking at your door, are you available and ready to receive the opportunity? And are you positioning yourself to create opportunities? Like if somebody were to give you $1 million tomorrow, would you even know what to do with it? What are you doing each day to prepare yourself to know what to do with $1 million if someone gave it to you? And we talked about why people don't seize opportunities or create opportunities. And we talked about laziness. We talked about substance abuse. We talked about not being available or present in the rooms that you need to be in, the places you need to be to see opportunities. What else did we say? I think I'm missing one. But yeah, we just talked about the reasons that people let opportunities pass them by, or they're just unaware that there was even an opportunity that presented itself. It's like some people when you're going out and you're getting dressed and you're making sure your hair is right and your face is beat and you're ready, because when you go out, you never know when you might run into him, or Mr. Right, if women could apply that same vigor and preparation and time towards business, we'd be good to go. All right. Hi, Richard. I think we might be done here. If no one else has anything to say. I told you all the goal, right? We set the goal for tonight, yeah. Yup, you hate to say it. Well, the good news is, even when you say goodnight, you know, you'll be seeing me again tomorrow. We'll be right back here at 9 o'clock doing the same song and dance. So go on ahead and say it. You call it, Derek. Good topic. Such good topic. Thank you. I hope it's useful and I'm not just like running my mouth. I hope somebody finds it useful. Okay, Derek said it. It's good night. So everybody, thank you for tuning in. Please remember to like the video, share the video, subscribe to the YouTube channel at Business Builder Basics. Join the group. It is free right now to join the group. I encourage you to get in there because we're gearing up to really be able to seize some opportunities. Okay, so when it comes knocking, I want you all to be ready. Okay, boss up.